Morning, afternoon, evening, good night, bienvenue, welcome, willkommen, au revoir. Bye. That's it.
Oh, that was an easy one this week.
I do have to apologise for the rather wild and untamed hairstyle I have today, but I can't help having huge, voluminous hair.
It's babushka-esque.
Babushka-esque? Why,
Yeah.
Paul? Babushka means old granny.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome.
How's my hair today?
Awful.
Thank you.
Look like a scarecrow.
I like Wurzel Gummits, so
I think
that's
seriously
good.
you need
That's
it cutting. Seriously, cutting off, I think. That's actually an improvement. Welcome to the show, bloody welcome, and thank you for tuning in yet again to our lovely little show, which is weekly,
On a Sunday,
on a Sunday.
and called Sunday Chat!
Thank you.
I quite enjoyed shouting that today.
Good.
Yeah.
So, where has September gone, Paul? It's gone in a flash. Gone in a flash. We're on the... Stop it now. Calm down. Stop showing off. It's gone in a flash. I mean, where has it gone? It's the 25th of September. Nearly October. Paul, if you continue, I will shout cut.
What, just cut?
No, that may signal that I may get hold of a large pair of scissors and cut all your hair off.
Oh, there we go.
Live on camera.
I think people would quite like that.
My lips are dry.
Is that a euphemism?
No, my lips are dry.
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah, where has the month gone? Yeah.
I think they just vanish now. I really do. I really, really do. When I do my calendar turning in a week at the plot, I genuinely, when I'm turning the calendar, or I think I need to turn the calendar because it's a new month, or it's a new month tomorrow. It's sort of like, where is time going? Is it true that it speeds up, do you think? Or you have the perception of it speeding up as you get older?
Well, it doesn't speed up.
Well, obviously it doesn't.
No, because, our measurement of time is a constant thing. But it's the perception of time. You remember being a child and coming up to the summer holidays, 6 weeks of holiday.
Oh yeah, that's goes on forever.
And that just seemed to stretch out in front of you. Whereas now, if you think, oh, good, I've got a week off, you blink, you wake up, and it's like, it's back to work. What happened?
Mm.
But I think also we're just more conscious of it now.
Possibly, yeah.
And the perception changes. And I think also they reckon it's about how you fill your time. If I sit and do nothing and fall asleep on the sofa, that's the afternoon gone, and it's considered a waste of time. I don't consider it a waste of time. I consider it pure luxury, personally, because I love to sleep. But, if you've got stuff to do, and you think, damn, I meant to put the wash on, or
but if you're busy, surely time goes quickly as well.
No, but it's to do with how you reflect on what you've done after the fact. So if you get to Monday morning and you reflect on your weekend and you think, well, on Saturday I did X, Y, and Z, we did this, blah, 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 you perceive it as being well-used time that you moved through at a relatively steady pace.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't do much and then reflect on it, you'll probably regret having wasted that time.
Oh yeah, it's best not to dwell on things like that.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, we don't practice that really particularly. If I'm going to reflect on something, I spend 5 minutes reflecting on it, and then I move forwards, because I think we're pretty well practiced at being in the moment
Yeah, I think we are.
now.
I think we are. But there's also things that need to be done. I mean, today you've had a really busy day so far.
That's to do with being in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seizing the day, seizing that opportunity to spend your time doing stuff that needs to be done and enjoying it. And actually, at this time of year, doing one's housework is quite beneficial because one doesn't feel the cold.
No.
The freezing cold, damp house. It's not damp.
It's not damp.
No, but if it gets any wetter, it's going to start feeling that way. Cold and damp, I think, is the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when you really start to feel it in your
God,
bones.
I remember coming home from sports, playing football or rugby or cross-country running. I mean, what was all that about?
God, I hated that.
Honestly,
I hated cross-country.
that was just like awful, wasn't it?
I used to go to the newsagents and buy some fags. And then walk the rest of the course smoking.
Oh dear. But it was that sort of going home after that, completely sodden, Even though Guernsey, the trip home was 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, but Paul, come on, when you're a child, you don't notice that the cold is getting to your bones.
Well, no, it was that sort of wetness, really, that I hated.
Don't be silly. Yeah. Move on from those awful memories.
Well, they're not awful, but cross-country running.
Yeah, move on. Let's not spend too much time in the past.
Mind you, then you could run through a valley which is no longer accessible to the public in Guernsey. So they have the fabulous babbling brook on that
Paul,
estate. Yeah.
Look at my face. This is what me in a coma looks like.
Oh dear.
Anyway, so it's to me September has been disappointingly cold.
Well, it has.
And I was praying for an Indian summer. September and October warm and golden.
I was absolutely convinced we weren't going to have an Indian summer, and for once, I was right.
For once, yeah, you can say that again.
And that brings us on to the weather.
Richard and Paul's weather report. So it's actually sort of grey and damp today. Temperature is around 15, 16. Temperature is the same inside the house as it is outside the house.
The other day it was actually cooler inside, wasn't it?
It was warmer outside the other day.
Yeah.
That's because we're not putting the heating on. More about that later.
But going forward into next week, the temperatures are set to fall,
Dropping. We've got northeasterlies coming. With rain forecast and cold breezes.
But today was supposed to be... Well, I looked at two forecasts actually.
Yeah.
One that said it was going to be wet throughout the day to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's Friday, where we are now. And the other one said that there was going to be some sporadic rain in the morning, and then that was it. And in fact, that one has been correct, hasn't it?
Yeah, we had a little bit of sun, didn't we, Paul?
We've had spots of sun, yeah.
You don't say spots of sun, you say sunny spells, Paul.
Spots of sun
Sunny
we've had.
spells.
Yeah, spots of sun and medium weight rain this morning.
That's how I talk if I move my mouth all the time like that. Sunny spells.
So, when we were upstairs before looking out, there was quite a grey cloud, wasn't there?
Yes. Don't touch the hair. You can't afford it.
I can't, you might. Oh, if things get really tough, we could cut off all your hair and sell it.
No.
It would make a great wig.
No.
Is it a wig?
No. It's not a wig, of course it isn't. Or I could have it all cut off, made into a wig for me to wear.
That would be indulgent, wouldn't it?
That would be indulgent, cost fortune, so it's not going to happen because we ain't got that kind of money.
No.
Literally. So that's, disappointingly cold, just disappointing
Yeah, it's
for
just,
September.
Yeah, life at the moment is just disappointing.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
anyway,
dear.
one
Yeah.
should get used to disappointment because life's full of disappointment.
Yeah, that's true.
It
That's true.
is.
Yeah.
This is life. Anyway, we weren't disappointed yesterday morning, were we, Paul?
I've got no idea what we're talking about.
Because we received a beautiful gift.
Oh, yes.
A
Yes.
beautiful box of gorgeous gifts from Courtney and Dave. Thank you so much. We've emailed you to say thank you. Just delightful. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And the cards as well.
It was just a beautiful bundle of gifts for Paul and I's birthdays.
Yeah.
And there's a hair just annoying me. Oh yeah, it's out of the way now. So yeah, that was absolutely lovely. Thank you so much.
It was
really lovely.
And there was a wonderful word on your card, wasn't there?
Moist.
Moist.
I do like that word.
It's
moist.
such a fabulous word.
Moist.
It really is. Yeah.
My cake was moist. My bread was moist.
My frangipani is moist. Yeah. Love the word. So yes, thank you very much, David Courtney, as he had said.
Thank you so much.
Very, very grateful.
So, let's sort of talk a little bit about the season, Paul. The season of autumn, we had our first fire.
We did.
And you may have seen the little video if you haven't here. I just wanted to mention the video because I think a few people kind of didn't get the point of the video.
What was the point of the video?
The point of the video was me attempting to light smokeless fuel using eco firelighters. And a lot of you have been suggesting, well, use kindling, use pine cones, use this, use that. The whole point was to keep the fire as smokeless as possible. We live in London, and London is a smoke-controlled zone, which means you are not allowed to belch smoke out of your chimney, mainly because it's a huge irritant to a lot of people, including ours as well. I was in the street one day walking home from work and it caught the back of my throat because somebody was burning something in their fire. So we are only allowed to use smokeless fuel and hardwood, which is, basically cured hardwood.
Yeah. So it dries. It dries, so it burns cleanly.
And it's mainly because, look, if you look out of our window, you will see houses there, houses there, houses there. This is a highly populated area. And you've got people with a huge range of health conditions. So we cannot be burning cardboard, burning paper, burning toilet rolls, burning whatever. You just can't do it. And, it's not a case of saying, oh, we'll burn whatever we want. We're too conscious of people's health. And we're too conscious about the legalities of that. If you are caught belching smoke out of your chimney, you will be fined. We can't afford a fine. We don't want to cause health problems to other people. So I just wanted to mention that because, there was a raft of suggestions as to how to get the fire to burn better. And that was not the point. I know how to build a fire. I've been building fires since I was a child. So, there is a traditional way, which I've made a video on before, which you can use paper, kindling, coal, which will light beautifully. But I know from experience that paper and kindling does create quite a bit of smoke. We don't want to do that. So that was the point of the video. So thank you if you watched it. Thank you very much. Just wanted to put you right on that. Thank you. Yeah, well, I thought I was quite clear. Honestly. And of course, the period of national mourning. Alexa, please stop. Alexa, stop. Yeah, so the national period of mourning is now over. The Queen is dead. Long live the King. God save the King. Whatever.
I love it. I have seen quite a few clips where newsreaders have been saying things like, I've forgotten now. God save the king, and they've said, Prince Charles is now King Charles. God save the Queen. I've seen several clips of that where they've got it wrong, which is understandable.
How
isn't
entertaining!
It? Well, I find that quite amusing.
I mean, the whole thing about this. I mean, when we mentioned that we're basically not royalists and whatever, we lost quite a few subscribers that week.
I like the royal family. I like a good chunk of the royal family.
We've got, we're not royalists, but we don't mind the royal family. But I think people get a little bit crazy if you say something contrary to their beliefs.
Oh, yes.
I've read quite a few Facebook bits and pieces on the royals and the funeral and blah, blah, blah. And the absolute nastiness of some of these so-called royal supporters is absolutely crazy. And the first thing they all say, have some respect for the Queen. And I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that.
Well,
hold on. Because on the day of the funeral, it was a day of national mourning and a day where everybody in the country is entitled to spend that day how they wish.
No, they're not.
Well, they are.
It was a bank holiday, so it was the usual rules. Most people, their employers will have given them.
Most people, let's generalise here, it's allowed. Most people were able to spend the day as they wish, either mourning the Queen or getting on with whatever they want to do in quiet contemplation. And that's what we chose to do. We didn't watch the funeral, not interested.
I just got on with my day.
And, we did whatever we needed to do. But where the respect bit comes in, I found that there were several people around here with a lack of respect for other people that day.
Yeah.
So, for example, we had noisy, rude, completely ignorant, inconsiderate family over the back there, allowing their children to scream in the back garden. Penetrating screams, no consideration whatsoever for the neighbours who may be wishing to spend the day quietly. There was somebody doing work on their house from 9 in the morning.
Oh, it's before 9.
Yeah. With this high-pitched whine. This is not the building project over there.
It sounded like a sander.
Yeah. It sounded like they were doing their floors. Now look, I understand if they've hired a sander for those days and they can't get a refund, blah, blah, blah. I understand all of that. But it was very annoying because if you had wanted to sit there and be quiet and meditative, you wouldn't have been able to have done it. The quietness in general was palpable.
Yeah, it was.
It was like Christmas Day morning, which of course suits us very well. And we decided to take a quiet walk over the fields in contemplation. Of course, we're not immune to the fact that it was the day of the funeral. You kind of absorb the atmosphere, but we didn't want to immerse ourselves in the pomp and ceremony. We chose not to do that. And you may reflect on people that you've lost, and reflect on how the royal family are probably feeling, But I just find people have been so judgmental over others and other people's decisions of how they want to react,
But I think people are generally judgmental now
Yeah,
anyway.
I find it really, really...
The amount of selfishness in this world is just increasing at such a pace.
It's really hard
And
to swallow
tolerance.
sometimes. Yeah.
Tolerance or acceptance, not tolerance. Tolerance is a horrible word
Yeah, I hate
because
that word.
it means that you don't agree
Putting
with
up.
something, but
You're
you put
putting
up with
up.
it. I do tolerate the Conservative government because I've got no other choice.
We tolerate the building work.
Yeah, But yeah, it's the level of acceptance of other people's views and feelings which I think is really falling. I think since we had that great sort of amount of community and camaraderie during the pandemic, particularly the first year of the pandemic, but since then I think it's just been... Yeah.
Well, it's like all big events that hit people emotionally. The human race is very quick to forget.
Mm.
This is why we have memorials. This is why we have remembrances, because we actually need to be reminded of things as the human race. You know, look at Diana when Diana was killed. Look at how most people felt. Most people were swept along with the tide of emotion in this country because it was such a shock. You know, it wasn't the case of somebody reaching old age and dying. It was a case of a woman in her prime being shockingly killed in a tragedy, you know. But how quick did we forget all of that?
Well, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
I'll never forget that day though, because I'll never forget it. I was actually in New York.
You were in New York.
And I was having breakfast with Jessica Lange, in fact, that day. And everywhere I went, people were sort of, when they heard my voice, they were going, "Oh, we're sorry for your loss." And it took me a while to clock what they were talking about, to be honest. So, yeah. I think it's also the collectiveness of things that frustrate me when you hear people, particularly in the media, saying things like, you know, all of the United Kingdom is behind this team and wishing them to win, you know, or, you know, the whole of Britain is in mourning for the Queen. I would like those collective phrases to be pulled back a bit, because that's not actually true. These collective phrases that get used in the media, particularly, they're just not true.
Well, it's generalisation.
I know.
And it happens all the time. We all generalise about stuff.
We do.
It's a natural thing to do.
I think it's important in the media that the media does not do that, because the media is supposed to put a balanced view forward.
Yeah, but they're not going to put 95% of people are mourning the Queen. 2% aren't, and 3% are blah blah blah. You know,
I'm not saying statistics. I'm saying, you know, I feel like many in the UK do today, that we're mourning, you know, 70 years of great reign of Queen Elizabeth. You know, that's what they could say. But no, they choose to be completely collective.
Look at my face.
I know. Well, move
I'm
on.
in a coma now.
Move on.
What I did find interesting about the funeral was the queue. The queue. 11 hours in a queue.
14 at one point.
14 hours in a queue. I wouldn't do that for my own family. No.
But
no way.
I know.
That was an endurance test. A ridiculous endurance test.
But
I don't think so. Never in a million years.
For you,
never.
I know a few people who were in the queue who did it, and they are very pleased that they did it. And it was like a
pilgrimage.
A pilgrimage, yes. You know, they didn't use that phrase, but in what they were saying, it sounded to me very much as though they had completed a pilgrimage that they felt they needed to do. And good on them. Not for me, but good on them.
I hear they're now doing paid tours of the queue route.
Really?
No, but I just made it up. I think they will be at some point in the future. This is the route of the... They will.
Yeah,
just like they do tours of where Jack the Ripper killed his victims in the East End.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on one of those?
No, and I don't want to either.
I went on one of those many years ago. It was hilarious.
Oh, well, yeah.
Absolutely
Hilarious. 13 women got slaughtered.
The sort of lack of knowledge of the person doing it, that was what was hilarious. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so we spent the day quietly. We appreciated the day off. It was a lovely short working week for me.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And it was a strange week because it was oddly quiet for the time of year. Phone-wise.
Right,
I mean, I'm
right.
always working on the computer, but the phones just were quiet. I think people were feeling rather subdued.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
How lovely.
Where are you going now?
Oh, yeah. So the building work continues on the monstrosity that is being erected, and it's actually getting to the point where it's driving you a little bit crazy, isn't it, Paul?
It drove
a little
me.
bit crazy, a bit loopy, aren't you?
I
Getting a bit
think
tetchy.
I got very
Paul.
tetchy Wednesday afternoon. So there's building work going on there.
Over the road there.
There's building work going on there.
Yeah, there's sanding going
There's
on
sanding
down there.
and some building work going on over there. There was roof work going on over there. I was trying to write my Guernsey Gardener article for the Guernsey Press. I can't talk. And then a car alarm went off. And I literally screamed out, for funk's sake, can someone just stop everybody doing things?
It's very selfish, Paul.
It was selfish. I was being selfish at that point. It literally was a barrage of noise. And the thing is, when I'm in the office, I like there to be a breeze in the office. So I can shut the windows and it will shut out some noise. But, I don't want to have to do that. So at this point, and then you came up, didn't you? You came upstairs to water the plants. He came up to water the plants and he started watering the plants. I said, that's it, I'm going.
No,
I'm going downstairs.
I didn't even get to the point of watering the plants, Paul.
No, he didn't. But I got the hump, and then I came downstairs, and after about an hour, I think they'd finished work, and it was quieter, and I went upstairs and finished the article, which is actually all about the change of season. It's all about the change from the end of summer to the beginning of autumn, which we're in at the moment, of course, and how that brings a different pace to what we do on the plot and us as well. So yeah, I did the end of it. I was relatively happy with the article, and it went off, and then I found out that my deadline had actually been shifted and the publication date had been shifted because of the Queen dying. Various things had been shifted in the publication a week, and mine had been shifted a week as well. So there we are. But anyway, it's all done and in the can, as they say. Though it's actually on somebody's memory chip on their computer, I suppose. Yeah.
What?
Well, it's not in the can, is it? That's a
waffling?
film.
What are you waffling on about?
I don't know.
Just
I
waffling.
think I'm going to just stop.
Really? So that's it essentially for this week, isn't it, Paul? You wanted to talk about next week, which is the big green.
Oh yeah.
Big green week.
It's the big green. It's the great big green week next week. And for our sake, if you shop in For Our Sake, in Cranley in Surrey, we're going to be giving out 100 grams of a dried foodstuff each day. And the reason that it's just 100 grams is because we're trying to let people know that small changes in life can actually make a difference. So yeah, it's a week of activism looking at people who are doing good for the planet, and I think it's great. It's the second one in the UK this year, so it'll be interesting to see post what we've had this month how that week progresses compared to how it did last year. So yeah, there we are. So if you're in Cranley and shopping in For Our Sake, you might be one of the random lucky customers, no purchase necessary, who gets a bag of green lentils, red lentils, chickpeas, who knows? So yeah. There we are.
Lovely, Paul. Thank you.
What are you doing this week?
I don't know. I feel as though I don't know, I've been quite busy this morning.
You've been very busy the whole day.
Doing housework. Bet
Yeah.
the royal family don't do housework, I tell ya. Bet the Queen never cleaned a loo. Bet she
Going
didn't.
back to that now.
No, well, just thinking
Oh,
about
I'm
it.
going to
I
go
mean,
and make
you know,
a cup of tea.
these politicians
I'll leave you
and
to it.
these privileged people in these positions.
Do you want me to talk about stamp duty?
I bet
and
the Queen never had to
taxation and
put
things like that.
a bleach block in the system. No.
What's next?
What did we watch on TV this week, Paul? Not a lot. Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
And oh god.
Oh,
that bloody series. Oh my god.
we started watching a new Toni Collette series on.
Well, I don't think it's new.
I think it is.
It's not that new.
New to us.
Pieces of Her.
Pieces
on
of
Netflix.
Her on Netflix.
No, no, no. In the words of Two Unlimited, no, 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 no. I couldn't get past the first
10 minutes.
No. Oh my god. No, 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 no. It made me feel ill.
But you see, that's how I felt about the other one she was in. Hereditary, which you
Yeah.
really liked.
But Paul, Hereditary is not real. It's not real, it's a fantasy. People's corpses do not float up onto a ceiling and try to decapitate themselves with a piano wire. That doesn't happen in real life. People get stabbed in the hand in real life. That was horrific. Horrific. No. No, 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 no. I can't even... Oh, no. No. I actually felt faint.
And that's how I felt about the other one as well. Well, we both felt, didn't we? That one a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, so
Which one
we
a couple of weeks ago?
with the family that moved to the white neighbourhood, the family that moved to the white neighbourhood.
No, but that wasn't. That was
different.
That was about the pure hateful situation.
Yeah, yeah.
And the horrible, horrible racism. That's what that was making us feel sick about.
I know, but I mean, it's all about...
It didn't make me feel physically sick, it made me feel intensely uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
This was making me feel as though I was going to pass out if I continued to watch it.
So we didn't.
Oh.
We gave up on it after 10 minutes, maybe less. So, yeah, we won't be talking about that one.
Oh, no, no, no. And I love Toni Collette.
Mm.
She's always so good in everything she does. Excellent actress. But no. That's not going to be watched.
But we have been...
And I think it won awards as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, things like that sometimes do. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There we are. So yeah, we haven't watched much.
Again, we've spent time quietly, going to bed relatively early. We usually in bed by 10:30. Watching our garden, watching the light dim, just enjoying being and relaxing and just allowing thoughts to happen. You know, that's what I tend to do. And if I have a thought in my head that I don't like, which we all have occasionally, I try and move it on to something else. It's kind of like flicking over on the channels, you know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
If I have an unwanted thought, I look into the garden and I shall focus on what I need to do in the garden the next day, or what I'm looking forward to, or changes in the garden. I try to actively manage what my head is doing rather than just let it run riot. You can never clear your head of thoughts. You know, when you hear people say, oh, meditate, clear your mind, you can never clear your mind. The mind does not shut down, you know, only when you're unconscious.
Well, even then, we don't know that. We may not be... We don't know whether we experience it or not.
Well, we do, because we dream. But that's when you're asleep. Alexa, please stop. Thank you. When you're asleep, you're not completely unconscious.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. When someone's
But
unconscious.
when you are, say, for example, anaesthetised for an operation, you become anaesthetised and you wake up. That's it. There's no sense of the time. There's no sense of you dreaming or waking up partway through sleep. That's what I mean, you know?
Right.
Now you've made me forget what I was actually talking about because you cut across me rudely, Paul.
I think you'd finished what you were talking
But
about.
No, I hadn't actually. I was mid-flow. Thank you. So yeah, quiet evenings, meditative, chatting about stuff, a little bit of time on our phones, catching up with people. Just enjoying this time of year. Wish it was a bit sunnier, but I'm quite I've got a feeling, I don't know why, Paul, but I've got a feeling October's going to be nice.
Well, let's hope so. I'd love it to be cool and crisp and sunny. That's what I'd like.
So that's it for this week's Sunday Chat.
Sunday chat!
Thank you for tuning in. Bye for now.
Are we going?
Yeah, we're going now.
All right,
We've
we're
got
going
shit
now.
to do.
Yeah.
We do. We've got a house guest tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Bye.
Bye.